Alright guys, welcome back to another Dokkan battle video. So today we're gonna be doing the last few stages of the 10th anniversary battle event. This is kind of long overdue relative to when the last video came out, but we're gonna hop in regardless of anything. So yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, we'll run this team. If I remember correctly, the event wasn't really like challenging, but we'll see. Yeah. We're going with no support items, no support members, and just see how it does. Like, I really like this event because it just shows like progression of anniversary units and stuff like that. Let's go Beast Gohan. Let's go defeat Beast Gohan.
俺の好きだった自然や動物たちを守ってやってくれ頼んだぞ
もう許さないぞあいたち
Okay. Right. Let's see what we're dealing with here. This should just be a straightforward fight, I think. But yeah, no, I really like this event. Like, just retrospectively, as a person who started Dokkan from like literally, for me it was I think 5 months into the release of Dokkan, like when Dokkan first came out, is when I started playing. And that was around the time I think STR Brody came into the game, I think. Yeah. So yeah, for me it was like really exciting at the time. And I remember specifically at the time, like my friends and I, whatchamacallit, I was showing them, hey, there's this game called Dokkan. Why don't you give it a try? And they were like, nah. They saw it and they were like, nah, fam. We not touching this with a 10-foot pole. And then like a year later or something, when what was it? It was STR Rose and Physical Blue Vegito when they came up, because they came up with that big banner, like the first ever big like celebration banner, which included all the units in the game. My friend jumped on with me and he started something, if anything. And then shortly after the fact, when around the time Super Saiyan Gogeta and Physical Omega Shenron released in the game, which, yeah, that was a very contentious time where, whatchamacallit, they released on Global with their leader skills saying coming soon or to be released or whatever the leader skill was at the time, and you couldn't use them to run the teams that they're supposed to run. I remember at the time when my other friend joined, and he just pulled Gogeta and like the first Marty. He's like, is this guy good? That's how we all came out to Dokkan. And like we've been playing ever since then, for a very long while. So it's gonna be hard to. That's what I find interesting, like with this type of game, and why I kind of like this type of game, or like Dokkan in particular, over a lot of the other gacha games. Like compared to the only one I can compare to directly right now is like Legends, because like if you look at Legends, actually let's first look at Dokkan, right? Where if you play long enough, you get really good unit teams that last for very long, right? And because it's not a PvP game, it's a PvE game, the fights do take quite a while to actually ramp up in difficulty. Although you could argue recently we've got really big power jumps in meta in the last 2 years. Yeah, and so with that being said, if anything, whatchamacallit? Oh, look at this. Like the teams last longer in Dokkan. If anything, your units will very seldomly get power crept, like within months. And then added to the fact that the easy mechanic Oh god, we got hit for 300k. Wow, these guys are hitting quite hard. Yeah, where the easy mechanic allows for all the units to come back into the meta and rejuvenate. And then, of course, the super easy mechanic for the really older units that have already easy to come back again in the meta. And of course, I remember the super easy mechanic was meant to be a temporary measure that Dokkan did say, where they will figure out a way to kind of give the game some sort of longevity. Because, I mean, you have this box full of a lot of units, and there's more units here than in Legends, and you can't use most of the units that are like.
まさかベジータ。やった。やっぱそうだった。カカロット。ベジータ。カカロット。余計な真似だぞ。ああ、分かってる。あんな強いやつ初めてだ。手震いしてきたぜ。
Yeah, and so whatchamacallit? Yeah, you have these units that can come back into the meta from very long time ago, if anything. And whatchamacallit? Beyond that as well, with the hidden potential system, the hidden potential system in this game, where if you pull more copies of a unit, which eventually they add the system later in the game, you could actually invest it and get more power out of the units and more stats of anything. And that was actually quite nice because it gave a reason to you like pulling the unit again. And then later on, it talked about we dealt with the situation where you would pull the units that you want to. Are we dead here actually? Okay, no, we're good. Oh god, we're still taking damage. Okay, so I have to pay attention quite well here. But yeah, it talks about like, yeah, even if you pull all the max dupes and everything, they added the pity system in the game, which allows you to exchange the extra units that you pull from the banners for coins, pity coins, that you can use to buy some of the honor units that you didn't pull that have reappeared on the banner. And so like it's like this ever-ending reward cycle where the longer you play the game and the more the units that you actually just pull naturally, the more that you will be able to get your account to like 100% mark, or rather get units to their full power. Because I mean, like, you seeing these units right now here that we have here, like the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and the anniversary units, right? Because I've played the game long enough, right, I don't need like an older LR or something that's a Dokkan Fest anymore. I could, if I pull the older LRs again, I could exchange them for coins so that eventually when these guys return on the banner, I could just get them for free, like a free copy, and put more power into my existing unit. And so like that's what I like about this game. It has a nice reward system for playing long. And like unfortunately, Legends, which is the other gacha game you can only draw like a parallel to, doesn't have the system, right? Because you have the situation where like you're pulling units and they have a higher hit potential system barrier than us, right? In Dokkan, because like they have stars, limit breaks, if anything, right? And you gain more stars the more units you pull, and it automatically invests in stuff. Okay, and then like the quote-unquote hidden potential system of that game, the Soul Boost system, that's just based on like you can do that no matter what star level you at, if anything, in the unit, right? But increasing the stars increase the natural base stats of the unit. Let us actually pop the Giant Ape Vegeta here. And yeah, like with Legends there, the problem though is that because it's a PvP centric game, they power creep or change the meta every like couple of months, and so your units don't have actual longevity in any case, right? And they have the same kind of event milestones or celebration milestones that Dokkan has. They have Anniversary, they have Legends Fest, right? They have Golden Week, and so you get these units coming back again that are going to be power crept again and again and again very fast. And the problem though is that for those older units, right, which in that game, the EZA system is called the Zenkai system, right? You need a unit at a specific star level, which is 7 stars, to actually be able to Zenkai a unit that has gotten a Zenkai. In Dokkan terms, you need a certain amount of jupe levels in a unit to actually EZA them, right? Where if you compare that to Dokkan, you could EZA a unit if they're just able to EZA, regardless of how many jupe levels they're at, evading, and they get the benefits of the new kits and everything. Legends, it limits you. You have to pull X amount of copies of unit to be able to Zenkai them, if they have it, right? And so that limits your team composition options to you needing to pull more units, right? And in terms of the free stuff that they give you, it's not as generous as Dokkan. You don't get many events that give you chrono crystals or give you free stones, everything. It's more timely events, right? Dokkan has the thing whereby like event comes out, the missions stay, basically, and you can attempt them at any point in time, right? Maybe it's gone, yeah. This guy's probably gonna hit really hard, but we'll probably use Super Saiyan 4 Goku now. Basically, yeah, let's use Super Saiyan 4 Goku now. Okay, yeah. So, and that's like the thing with Legends, right? They don't give you like free tickets and all. And like the problem with Legends, which is the core problem, is its pity system, right? You could play as long as you want a Legends, right? And you could pull jupes for units, right? And you can carry on forward, whatever, okay? And the problem though is that like once you max out a unit stars, there's nothing to do with that unit. You get these equipment medals or whatever, which you can use to get certain types of stuff in the shop, which are not really beneficial to people who don't really min-max of anything. Like they're useful, but it's not. They need to give more stuff in the shop, unfortunately, in my opinion. And what it ends up being is that you can't. Their banner system is that you summon on the banner. Yeah, their system is that you summon on their banner, you spend as much as amount of crystals you can, and you get these pity coins. And then on the same banner, you can use the pity coins to get the new units at the same time of the release, which is really nice. You have to spend quite a bit of stones to actually do that, if anything. Dokkan has also a very similar thing, if anything, right? But I believe Dokkan is much more cheaper than Legends is, okay? And the problem though with that is after the banner's gone, let's say you don't get enough coins to actually get the unit for free, if anything. All those coins are discarded. You can't use them again, right? It's only for that banner, okay? And all the other units that you pulled on the banner that you have juice for already and are already maxed out, they just discarded. They exchange for equipment medals, and that's it. You don't get any extra pity. You don't get pity that transitions between banners. Nothing. So unless you are a whale, pity system does not exist for you. It just doesn't. Waiting. Okay, we'll be right back. Hang on a second. All right, be back. Sorry, I just realized that we could transform Vegito as I was talking. Debating. So let's actually transform into Vegito and just probably finish up this fight.
右の耳につけてくれ頼むベジータよくぜ早くいいんだろこれでサンキューベジータこいつがスーパーベジータおたらの威力を見せてやるか遠慮はしねえぞ
Okay, so now we basically win. Oh, for fuck's sake, we don't have enough ki. Damn it. Maybe if we left Super Saiyan for Goku yet? Okay, that's good. We'll get him that. Yeah. But yeah, so like with Legends, the longer you play, it doesn't actually move the needle in any way for you, right? It's just based purely on your luck, right? And you're not your investment into the game, right? And that game is much harsher because it has a PvP mode. So if you generally what happens, which like my friend and I, like we talked about it, and actually it's true. If you leave Legends for a while, or if you just reroll your account, you're in a way better place than some of the people who just play longer, if anything, right? Because you just pull all the new units, if anything. Or you accumulate enough of like the time where you didn't do any of the events or whatever to just do them all at once to get all the mass amount of souls for one particular banner, essentially, right? So there is no benefit to just playing that game long term, other than your enjoyment of like PvP, which is what you're there for, right? And so, oh yeah, and don't even get me started about the equipment system, where like Dokkan's equipment system, even though it's based off only 3 skills, if anything, right? The equipment system, rather the abilities and stats that the equipments give in Legends is better than Dokkan. Conceptually, how the equipment system works is bullshit, right? How you upgrade them is bullshit, right? You have 3 nodes of the equipment, you have to upgrade them, and each one of the slots on the equipment that have those nodes can have a certain level, right? And each of those slots will grant certain abilities and stats. And the higher the level of that slot, the more stats and abilities they could probably give. There's certain unique equipments that change how or give people certain lines into their passives, extra lines or whatever. There's certain equipments for the highest rarity characters where if they are at a certain star level, they will gain these abilities. So like, it's all shit, if anything. So, it's just such a frustrating notion, that game there. I don't know, but like that's why like Dokkan I think has a lot of staying power, if anything, and it's a lot of longevity, right? Because not only does it have this kind of like reward for long-term players, if anything, also short-term players, right? Short-term players can start a game right now. The longer the Dokkan lives, the better it is for both players. Because if you're long-term player like me, I could just I have all the units that I could ever want, the older ones. If I need to pull new ones, I could dupe or I could exchange the older units for coins, anything, right? New people come into the game. The game has been out for over 10 years now, right? We have a plethora of events that give plenty amount of stones that you can use as the mana. So, and they're not going to all grind it up in one day. It's impossible. There. So, you could actually, as a new player, just grind up all the stones for one particular banner if you want to. Just roll on it, everything, and you get coins from the banner that are put that transition to single banner. The pity goes between all types of banners, right? And you still get the same thing where if you manage to pull the max amount of juice for a character on the same banner, any extra of the character you pull can be exchanged for coins immediately. You don't have to wait. So like, it's like what's the problem there with Legends? I don't understand. Yeah. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'm very curious to actually see if you play Dokkan, and if you play Legends, or if you play Dokkan and another gacha game. What do you like about Dokkan? What do you like about the other game you're playing? Which one do you think is better? Which one do you think is worse? Yeah. So, I'm curious to see what you say. And as always, I shall catch y'all next time. Peace.